Hello and welcome back to my channel and third video, and this is Internet Privacy by I Love Myths 2003 on AO3, which is part 3 of MediaStorm of the series called MediaStorm Heroes, but part 5 of the MediaStorm series. I'm doing this part first because I decided to first record the Heroes segment. Then I will be recording the villain segment. Now let's get on with the summary. Summary. Hitoshi Shinso is accepted into the UA Hero course because he just got enough points to make it in. Bakugo is gone, so there's an extra spot. But is annoyed at all the people who keep telling him his quirk is villainous. Angrily, he writes a post about how unfairly people treat those with unheroic quirks. In the light of the Aldera Middle School debacle, it makes more of an impact than anyone could have expected. Hitoshi should have known that nothing on the internet remains private. When Hitoshi Shinso made it into the hero course, he thought it would be proof enough that he could be a great hero even with his quirk. But the comments made against him didn't stop. On the contrary, they increased. Hey Shinso, who'd you have to brainwash to get a spot in the hero course? The next classmate of his swung an arm around his shoulder. The move would have been friendly if Hitoshi hadn't known any better. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Hitoshi did know better. The envy was clear in the other boy's eyes as he fixed a fake grin on his face. I got into the hero course with my own skills. Hitoshi gritted out, unwilling to speak to his classmate any longer than necessary. Despite his best efforts, the other boy refused to take the hint. Ah, come on, Shinso, we're buddies. Do me a solid and get me a place too. There it was. Hitoshi knew that there was another reason the boy approached him, even if it was to mock him. No one ever spoke to him willingly without having some other reason. They were too cowardly too. Come on, Hitoshi, we're friends, aren't we? That does it. They were not friends. For the majority of his life, people had told him that his quirk was perfect for villainy, that no matter how much he tried, he'd never make it in the world of heroics, because no one will ever see him as a hero. Hitoshi was sick of it. Rounding on the boy who still had a hand on his shoulder, Hitoshi began to rebuke him. The tired look that his eyes usually had disappeared to reveal the anger bubbling just beneath the surface. How dare you? He seethed, the voice coming out as a low growl as the other boy, Akio, jerked his hand back as if he'd been burned. He may as well have, because he played with fire for too long, and Hitoshi was going to burn him. Should learn that actions have consequences. Listen, when I talk to you because I'll only say this once. Hitoshi hissed at Akio as Akio turned white, the blood leaving his face as he trembled. The false bravado he liked to parade around was gone, and in its place, the sniveling coward that Hitoshi knew was there. It had always been. I can be whoever the fuck I want. I can be a hero if I want. I don't have to conform to the box you have all put me in because of what my quirk is. I passed the exam through my own efforts, and I won't have you ruin that for me by opening your stupid mouth when it's unwanted. Do you understand? Hitoshi waited for Aki to reply. His tormentor couldn't produce more than a few whimpers. I said, do you understand? Hitoshi asked again, and this time, Aki abandoned all attempts to verbalize his answer, quickly nodding his head before running down the corridor, away from Hitoshi. Good. Next time, he'd think twice about trying to use Hitoshi. For the rest of the day, his classmates stayed away from him. It wasn't as if they hadn't done that before, but now Hitoshi took comfort in it. He knew where he stood. He's not the villain everyone thought he was. He was a hero. The peacefulness of the day should have tipped him off at that something bad was about to happen. But Hitoshi was on cloud nine, So he ignored it. He shouldn't have ignored it. Hitoshi was called into the principal's office early the next day and told to sit down. Shinso, your behavior yesterday was unacceptable. Terrorizing a promising student like that. It's truly the work of a villain. You will need to apologize to Furukawa immediately. Hitoshi couldn't take it anymore. He slammed his hands onto the table and leaned over, eyes not leaving the principal's. So you're saying that I should have let him talk? Shinso's smile was feral as he stared down his principal. The man didn't even move, face pale as he took in Shinso's face. What that Shinso hoped showed just how much displeasure he felt at the moment. How dare the principal defend Akio? How dare he try to tell Hitoshi that he was wrong for standing up for himself? Finally, the principal responded, but not with his voice. Suspension, 3 weeks, was written on the sheet of paper that principal held in his hands. He gestured for Hitoshi to leave. Hitoshi couldn't go down without fighting. In his rage, he started to write. Words poured out of him like water from a faucet. Every frustration or anger thought escaped him as he wrote, and in the one place he knew he was safe. The internet was a comfort to Hitoshi. Online, no one could judge him for his work, nor would they fear him. He was nameless and faceless, a random person among the thousands who used the same site. It was here that he wrote down. At Coffee Cat, breathe. Why is life so unfair? Today was shit. It was utter crap. I can't have a happy moment in my life without the world falling apart around me. Why is it that our quirks determine what we do our entire lives? It's so stupid to tell a 4-year-old that he's going to be a villain all his life. Someone with a quirk that changes the color of the hair should be a hairdresser. Someone who can balance really well is useless. And someone who has a villainous quirk should be a villain. What happened to following our passions? Why are we put in a box from the moment our quirks manifest? What is someone unimportant if their quirk isn't flashy? What use is a fire quirk in a corporate job? What use are wings to an accountant? Why can't I find a place to belong? Today, my principal defended someone over me just because my quirk wasn't good as theirs. It didn't matter that he was a bully. It didn't matter that I was standing up to him. I was in the wrong. Why the fuck was I in the wrong? Why do I have to go through the motions of life in a world not designed for me? I put in the work, I did everything I was asked. Why can't I have a say? When will the world have a place for people who don't have heroic quirks? Hitoshi paused for a moment to breathe. His heart thudded heavily in his chest, and he lifted a hand to brush his hair out of his face when he felt wet skin. He was crying. Damn it, why was life so unfair? Without thinking much of it, Hitoshi posted his rant to his 44 followers. They were faceless names on the screen. They wouldn't know who he was anyways. Writing his thoughts into words was therapeutic. It made him feel light, as if a weight had been lifted off his chest. Maybe this is what people talked about when they explained how they felt after telling a trusted person their problems and having them listen. If so, this was Hitoshi's therapy. The therapists were strangers on the internet who knew next to nothing about Hitoshi. He went to bed with a smile on his face that night. Hitoshi woke up to the sound of his phone buzzing, which was odd because he didn't have any friends who would text him. Ignoring it, Hitoshi buried his head into his pillow. It was too early for him, and he doesn't have enough coffee or willpower to open his phone. Wrapping his blankets tighter around him, Hitoshi tried to enjoy the only good thing about his suspension: sleep. He couldn't get even that. The buzzing and beeping of his phone kept waking him up every time he was about to drift off, until finally, Hitoshi slammed his hand into his phone, gripping it and turning it on. The bright screen made him squint, the light hurting his eyes before everything came into focus. The 44 followers he'd always had now grown to 146K. Somehow his post had gone viral overnight, and it was still spreading. His screens flashed as everyone reposted, liked, and commented on his post. All the while his following grew. His old posts were not spared the treatment, getting likes and comments months after they were posted. This was insane. Turning his phone off, Hitoshi tried to go back to sleep. This was a dream. This was not real. This had to be a dream. Soon, he was able to convince himself to go back to sleep. It was a dream. When Hitoshi woke up again, he had nearly forgotten what he'd seen that morning, thinking it was nothing more than a fever dream he had due to stress. One look at his phone soon corrected his thinking. The top message on his account read, "I'll get to the bottom of this for you, my dear student." It was signed Nezu. Hitoshi passed out again. What was the principal of UA doing involving himself with Hitoshi? He would rather later find out that due to recent events, the media was on the prowl for the next story. When his post gained notoriety, they pounced on the chance, making it even more infamous. Thus, Hitoshi gained a bit more than what he bargained for, and the principal of his middle school became a very sorry man. And that was the end of this one shot called Internet Privacy by I Love Myths 2003. Again, check them out, link in the description and everything. And this was the end of the part of Media Storm Heroes series. It's still ongoing, so if there's any more that come out, I'll be covering it. Of course, I'll also notify the author if I'm covering it. I've already asked for permission. And the next video should be about Media Storm villains. That's supposed to be Society Creates Villains, and that should be the next part. Anyways, remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and if you want to keep up, well, to see any more videos from me in the future. And that's about it. Bye.